Next in the series we have foreign loop, which is totally different from while, do while and for loop. Use is similar, we use it to repeat these statements, but it will be very useful for arrays. We don't have covered the array part, so it will be little bit typical to understand it now. Let's discuss few things about array first. Suppose we have a variable, that is variable I, and so we can store a value in a variable, but as the single value is stored, we have a limited use of it. In array we can store more than one value in a single variable. That means you have a variable I, and this variable will have many values. And how it is possible? When we declare a variable as an array, then the variable will occupy many addresses in the memory, and each address will store a single value, and all the addresses will combine to form an array. Suppose you want to store 5 values in a variable, so we make the variable an array, and now this array will have 5 addresses starting from 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and each address is capable to store a single value. So ultimately you stored 5 values in one variable, which is an array. Please note that address in array starts from 0. So if an array has 3 addresses, they will be numbered like 0, 1 and 2, and they will not be numbered like 1, 2 and 3. This convention will be wrong. So this is the basic concept of array. I will cover this topic of array in later videos, but for the for in loop you must know about this much. So let's move forward for in loop. So for in loop is used for arrays, as I said earlier. Let's discuss the syntax for the for in loop. So the syntax says for, then we write a variable, then we write in, that's a keyword, then array name, and then we write curly brackets, and in the brackets we write the statements that we want to execute. So let's learn more about it using an example. So to use a for in loop, we must have an array. So see, how do we define an array first? So I will write here a variable name is a variable, and I want it as an array, so I will write equals to, then I will write new, and then I write array, and then I use the parenthesis, and to define the values of array we use the statements, we use the strings. So as I want to store a string, so I am using the double quote, and first I will write Ankit, then I put a comma, and again I use the double quotes, and then I write Shobhet, and then I use a comma, and then again I use double quotes and I write Shivam, and at the end I put a semicolon. Okay, now I have the array and whose name is name, and it has 3 values, Ankit, Shobhet and Shivam. So the addresses of these indexes are 0. The value Ankit is stored at the 0 at index, Shobit at 1 and Shivam at 2. Now we will use this array in our loop. So I will write variable, okay, I write here like var I in, I write the variable array name, so my array name is name, okay, then I write here like document, okay, document dot write, and in the brackets I will write student name is, then equals to sign, and I will concatenate it using a plus, and then I write the name, and then in the name I write I, okay, then at the end I put a semicolon, and I just write here like this double quote, and then BR tag for the next line break. So as the value of I changes, we get the index changed with the value of I. There is no need to write initialization condition or increment decrement. This loop do all these things by its own. So we will use this loop in future when we study array deeply, and so these are the loop which we discussed and learned how to use them. Using these loops we will write our scripts, and for loop will be using many times in most of the codes. Thank you.